Good evening, viewers. Appendicular Skeleton. Today, we will discuss the part C of the skeleton movement and locomotion chapter. So, before I start, I will request you to subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet, and if you are a new viewer to my channel. And if you are liking the videos, press the like button and share with your friends so that they can also benefit from these videos and be motivated before you start your day. So we will also start with a short presentation, and then we will discuss the content of today's discussion. So for that, for meditation, we just concentrate with the point of light. That light is of energy, which is releasing you. You're very breathing, releasing, feeling very comfortable, feeling very, very comfortable, very body, very comfortable, very comfortable. So we'll end. We have ended with the structure of vertebra, atlas vertebra, that is the first vertebra of our backbone. Okay, so we know that the backbone is the backbone consists of the vertebral column that consists of 33 vertebrae. Okay, vertebrae. Okay, so first vertebra is known as atlas. First vertebra is atlas, where we get the picture of this atlas is like this. This is the neural canal through which the spinal cord passes down from the brain to the vertebral column. To the vertebral column, these are the two transverse processes. These are the two. This is the neural arch. This is the neural spine, and this is the ligament where the two anterior facet with the condyles of the skull for articulation of the condyles of the skull. Okay, the skull fits into these two facets. Okay, and it's joined by a ligament. Okay, and these are the two transverse processes. Okay, and this is the neural spine and neural arches. Okay, then this is the picture of the second vertebra that is known as axis. Okay, so this upper part is the dens. Okay, these are the superior articular facet. Okay, these are the two transverse processes, both the sides. Okay. Then these small holes you can see near the transverse process, these are the transverse foramen. Okay, small holes. Then the big hole in between is the neural canal through which again the spinal cord passes. These are the two lamina, and this is the spinous process. So one and the other, like this two, they fit each other. First the atlas, then the axis. Like that, they fit one by one. Okay. Then is the thoracic vertebra. The other vertebra, this atlas and the axis is known. The name of these two, first and the second vertebra is known. And the other 5 vertebra of this cervical region that is not known. Okay, they do not have a specific name, but they are attached one by one. Then comes the thoracic vertebra, which are they all are typically like this. All of the thoracic vertebra, they are all typically like this. Okay, so what is the typical structure of this thoracic vertebra? Said they have a body which is known as centrum, then where the ribs facet. We have the ribs facet are there. These two pole-like structures, depressed structures, those are known as the ribs facet, where the ribs get attached to this. Then the neural arches are there just to, below the rib facet. There are two depressions which are known as neural arches. Then the small pole-like structure that are known as neural canals, which again the spinal cord passes. The two transverse processes are there, and the articulating facet, two articulating facets are there. Two protrusions are there. Okay, one vertebra fitting into the other, and this is the spinous process. Okay? Now, let us come to the description of this typical vertebra. Each vertebra has somewhat ring-like structure. Okay, the lower part is known as the centrum, which is solid cylinder or bone. Okay? Solid cylinder of bone that is known as the centrum. Two opposite ends of the centrum, they are flat. Okay? Two opposite ends of the centrum, they are flat. Flat centrum, two sides are flat. The dorsal side of the centrum is a canal present, which is known as neural canal. Towards the dorsal side, there is a neural canal. Okay? Then, which is formed by the union of two neural arches. Where the two neural arches join, that forms a neural canal. Okay? Then neural arches arise to the sides of the centrum. From the sides of the centrum, there are two neural arches. Okay? Then spinal cord runs through the neural canal. From the meeting point of the two neural arches, neural spine projects. That's where the neural arches join. Neural arches are joining these two other neural arches. These two neural arches, where they join, they produce the neural spine. Okay? Then thick sideward projections from the neural arches are the transverse processes. So the neural arches, thick sideward projections, these two are the transverse processes. Okay? Then articulating facets, they are borne by the neural arches, one in front and the other one on the other one is the behind on either side, keeping in joining two vertebrae, one behind the other. Okay, so articulating facets are there. So these two are the articulating facets, one behind the other, so that the vertebrae can join one behind the other. Okay. Then intervertebral discs or gristle. Okay, the intervertebral discs are also called gristle. They are pad of cartilage formed a kind of cushion. It forms a kind of cushion between the two vertebrae. Okay. So in between this two vertebrae, we have intervertebral discs, okay, which acts as a pad-like structure, as a cushion. Okay. So that the two bones do not touch each other. Okay. The neck vertebra or the cervical vertebra, the first is atlas, second is axis, and remaining five no specific name. Okay. Then thoracic vertebra, they have long neural spines which are directed backward. Each transverse process bears a facet on its extremity, articulates the tubercle of the rib. Okay, so each transverse process bears. We have two transverse processes. So each one bears a facet on its extremity. You can see these two are the transverse processes of the thoracic vertebra, and both of them they have facets at their extremity, where what happens? The tubercle of the rib gets articulated. Okay. Then lumbar process, well-developed neural spine and transverse processes, and serve for the attachment of the powerful back muscles. Okay. Lumbar vertebra, they have well-developed neural spine and transverse processes. They serve for the attachment of the powerful back muscles. Back muscles are get attached to this lumbar vertebra. Then sacrum and coccyx, both of them are fusion of vertebrae rather. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not vertebrae, it's vertebrae. Okay, sacrum is the large bone, which is a fusion of 5 vertebrae, and coccyx region, that is a fusion of 4 vertebrae. Then sacrum articulates the hip bones on either side, and coccyx, the last part of the bone, and represents the rudimentary tail of the human body. We have all heard that the human body, when it is in the fetus state, so when it is in the, when human body, when humans are in fetus stage in the mother's womb, they have a rudimentary tail. Okay, which when it grows, this tail vanishes. Okay, so that tail is represented by this coccyx region. Okay, now we come to appendicular skeleton. So this much was the vertebral column, all these was the axial skeleton. Now we come to the appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton consists of bones of the limbs and the girdles. So bones of the limbs are forelimbs and hind limbs, and girdles we have two types, that is pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle. Now what is meant by girdles? It is a part of the skeleton which helps to articulate the limb bones to the main skeleton, so that the limb bones are attached to the main skeleton. Articulate the limb bones to the main skeleton. That is the girdle. Okay. Now we come to the bones of the limbs, that is forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs. Upper arm consists of a single long bone which is known as humerus. Now lower arm has two long bones. One is radius, another is ulnar. Radius is towards the thumb side. This is the radius bone. This bone is radius and this side is the ulnar. Now the wrist bone. Wrist has 8 carpals. Okay. Palm has 5 metacarpals. And fingers, they have 14 phalanges. 2 in the thumb and 3 in other 4 fingers. Okay. Like that, in the hind limbs also, the thigh bone is a single long bone, which is the femur. This is the longest and the strongest bone in the human body. Then leg bones, 2 long bones for the leg. One is tibia, another is fibula. Tibia is on the inner side towards the thumb, the big toe. And fibula is on the outer side in the shank. Okay. Then ankle has 7 tarsals. Foot has 5 long metatarsals, 14 phalanges. Greater toe, 2 and 3 on the other 4 toes. Another bone is there, is the kneecap. Okay, in the knee region, we get a cap-like structure which is known as patella. It's an additional bone which is joined to the lower end of the femur. developed from a tendon. Okay? So this is the picture of the girdle as well as the, I mean, the hand bone, limb bone. So first we can see the clavicle. This is the girdle where we get the pectoral girdle, the clavicle, and the scapula. Okay? Now, here is the cavity where the humerus gets attached. This is known as glenoid cavity. Okay, we'll come to this girdle picture later on. First, we see the hand picture. I mean the limb, forelimb picture. First is the humerus, the long bone, single long bone, which is humerus. Then comes the ulna and radius. Okay, the radius is towards the thumb side. This is the thumb. You can see two bones at the thumb, which is the radius bone, and the outer side is the ulna. Okay. The carpals, 8 carpals, then 5 metacarpals, and then the phalanges. Okay, so these are the metacarpals, 5 metacarpals, and these are the 3 phalanges. And here there are 2 phalanges. Okay. Then comes the hind limb bone. So first is this is the hip bone, part of it you can see. So here the femur is attached to the acetabulum cavity. Okay, acetabulum cavity where the hip bone, it is present in the hip bone where the femur gets attached to it. And this is the longest, the strongest bone of our body. This is the femur. At the end of the femur is the kneecap, or you can say patella, which is attached, built from the tendon. Okay. Then the 2 long bones of the leg, that is, one is tibia and another is fibula. So tibia is on the inner side and outer side is the fibula, which is a thin bone. Okay. Then in the tarsals, we have 7 bones. In the in the ankle, we have 7 tarsals. And in the foot, we have 5 metatarsals. You can see the 5 bones, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 metatarsals. Then in the phalanges, we have 14 bones. Okay? 2 in the toe, big toe, and the other toes, we have 3 bones each. Okay? So this is about the limbs. I mean, yes, about the limbs. Then we come to the girdle. See, this is the pectoral girdle we can see. We have, in the pectoral girdle, we have the scapula. This is the triangular bone which we have. This is the scapula. Then we have this, in the scapula, we have a spine-like structure. Okay. There is a cavity which is known as glenoid cavity, where the head of the humerus gets attached. Okay. This is the outer border of the scapula. This is the clavicle which get attached, to the, there's also a facet where the clavicle gets attached to the scapula. Okay. This is the left pectoral girdle, which we are seeing the picture. Then we come to the pelvic girdle. Okay. Pelvic girdle is a fusion of both. Okay. Ilium, ischium, and pubis. Okay, ilium, this is the flat butterfly-like picture it is. The first upper portion is the ilium. The ischium is to this portion is ischium, these 2 portions, and pubis is these 2 portions. Okay. So ilium, ischium, and pubis, 3 bones are attached together, fused together to form the pelvic girdle or the hip girdle, let's say. Okay, these two are the acetabulum cavities, okay, where the head of the femur bone gets attached. The spine here, the five sacrum bones are fused together, and the coccyx. Okay, here 4 bones are joined together, fused together, forming the coccyx. Okay, this is the front view of the pelvis. Let us see the description once again for the girdles. This is okay. We come to the pectoral girdle, which is also known as shoulder girdle. We have 2 flat triangular scapula, which is known as shoulder blade, lying dorsally on either side of the vertebral column in the thorax region. A large, somewhat cup-shaped glenoid cavity is present on the outer apex of the scapula. Okay, outer apex of the scapula, we have the large cup-shaped glenoid cavity where the upper round head of the humerus sits. A long curved collarbone, which is known as clavicle, attached to the small raised part of the shoulder blade, which is close to the glenoid cavity on either side, on the other side. Okay, on the one side and on the other side gets attached to the uppermost part of the sternum. So this you can see, this clavicle, one side is attached to the scapula, the raised part, some raised part of the scapula near the glenoid cavity, and the other end gets attached to the sternum. Okay. Now, this is about the pectoral girdle. Now, pelvic girdle is also known as hip girdle. It has large trough-shaped part which is joined medially to the sternum. It's made up of fused bones, ilium, 3 fused bones. One is ilium, ischium, and pubis. A large cup-shaped acetabular cavity, which is known as acetabulum, okay, where the large round head of the femur fits into. Then it gives the support, this hip girdle that gives support to the skeleton on the hind limbs, and also it protects and supports the abdominal organs. Okay? Excuse me. Then, what is the difference between the male and female skeleton? Main differences: male skeleton is larger and heavier, and female skeleton, mainly it is the pelvis or the hip bone. This, in case of female skeleton, the pelvis and the hip bone is wider and trough-shaped, okay, so that it can adapt the accommodation for fetus. It can adapt to fit the fetus in the uterus, so that the fetus in the uterus during pregnancy can accommodate in this structure. Okay, so that's why the main difference between male and female skeleton is this one. Okay, so I think you go through this video. If you have any doubt, please do write in the comment box. Do write in the comment box. Okay, if you have doubts, please do write any of these chapters which I have taught. Please do write what doubts you have. I will respond to you as soon as possible. Okay, and if you want any more variations, please also do write it. Okay, and if you are liking the videos, press the like button, share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos, and do meditate before you start your day. Okay, so thank you for joining, and have a good day.